Hi guys, welcome to our second session on lead generation for virtual assistants. Today, we will cover the second module on how to find potential leads by answering following questions: how to use internet research to find potential customers, how to use industry resources to find potential clients, and how to create a report for a client. And our first topic is how to use online research to find potential clients. Where to start is always a good question. So what to do once you have identified the buyer persona or have been informed by the client about the lead they're interested in? Well, first of all, you can use search engines to find potential clients. You can also use social media or industry-specific websites to do so. And you can use lead generation databases. So how to use search engines? That might seem easy because people use Google almost every day. But choosing the right search engine can provide you with more possibilities. So also consider using alternatives like Bing or Yahoo. You should use relevant keywords. So first of all, you should craft them. And for example, as a lead generation, searching for new customers who buy coffee beans, like restaurants, coffee shops, cafes, you can use specific search words in Google, like coffee shop in Jakarta, cafes in Jakarta, restaurant coffee beans near Jakarta, and etc., etc. So you can make a right request. You can also use advanced search operators that can actually help you find more specific results, like, for example, so-called Boolean operators. There are special commands and parameters that can be used in search engines to refine and customize your search queries and enable you to find more specific and accurate search results. So these operators you can use when you want to conduct advanced searches on popular search engines like Google. So there are some examples of common advanced search operators that you can easily use. For example, quotation marks. If you place a phrase inside these quotation marks, the search engine will look for that exact phrase. This is very useful when you want to find specific results with some specific words, like climate change effects in quotation marks, and you will have results specifically with words climate change effects in them. Minus sign will exclude the word from the search results. For example, if you need to filter some irrelevant results, like you're interested in looking for dolphins, but somehow you get a lot of results with football. So placing a minus sign before the word football, no spaces, that's really important. You will exclude anything related to football. The search operator site, that looks like that. That operator will restrict everything to a specific website or domain. So if you want to find something on a specific website, you can just use that operator, and you will get the results only from that website. There are also and or operators. So and operator will show you results that have both words in them, like marketing and strategy. Two words, same page, for example. When you use or, you will find options that will have either the first word or another, like marketing or strategy. You will have results that can have only marketing or only strategy word in them, but it will really broaden your results. For example, how to use quotation marks. You are looking for information on Italian restaurants in Jakarta, and you want to find results that include this exact phrase. So you can just put Italian restaurants in quotation marks, and then you will have only results about Italian restaurants in Jakarta. So, or minus sign. You are looking for information about legal companies, but you want to exclude results related to legal aid organizations. So you just place a minus sign immediately before the term you want to exclude. Again, there should be any space between the sign and the word. And then you search for legal companies and exclude legal aid. So as you can see on the presentation. So you won't get any results about legal aid, just about legal companies. Or if you want to search for restaurants only on a particular website, you should use site operator. Like for example, TripAdvisor is good for looking for restaurants. So if you ask for restaurants by using the operator site and tripadvisor.com, you will get information about restaurants only from this website. And if you want to find advertising agencies, for example, that offer both digital marketing and branding services in Singapore, you can use the AND operator to include both terms in your search, like digital marketing and branding and advertising agency. There are no limits how many words you would like to include. So, and this search will return results that include all of these words and will be relative for you. Or if you're open to considering advertising agencies that specialize in either digital marketing or branding, you can use the OR operator to find results that include either of these services, like digital marketing or branding and advertising agencies. So this search will return results for advertising agencies in Singapore that offer either digital marketing or branding. So, how to use social media to find potential clients? Well, first of all, you should choose the right social media platforms. They all have their own specific, and you should know about that. So, for example, you can look for different industries on different social media. Like on LinkedIn, you will most likely find B2B professionals, corporate executives, HRs and talent acquisition specialists, marketing and sales experts, business consultants, IT companies, tech startups, and so on. On Facebook, you can find real estate, local restaurants, fitness and wellness businesses, small business owners, e-commerce. Instagram is mostly about fashion, travel, food and beverage industry as well, design, photography, coach, fitness, and so on. On Twitter, you can find the tech startups, journalists and media, digital marketing, health and wellness bloggers, cryptocurrency, and finance. And Pinterest can be useful for home decor, recipes and food bloggers, weddings and other events, crafters, fitness, healthy living, and so on. So one of the most popular platforms that actually help with broadening your network, finding new clients, finding new leads is LinkedIn. So you can use LinkedIn, and of course it has a search bar that can really help you with that. So, for example, when you click on the search bar on LinkedIn to activate it, then you can type obviously keywords or phrases relevant to the leads you're looking for, like marketing manager. Press enter, and you will have some results for marketing manager, where you can also choose some filters to narrow down your options and find something more specific to you. So for example, there are filters for location, for specific industries like software development companies, company size filter. So if you want to look for bigger or smaller companies, you can use that. And there is also a filter for connections. So for example, you can always look for mutual connections who work in IT companies in a specific location, for example, or seek recommendations from your network for potential leads. So how can you find decision makers on LinkedIn? Well, you can also use company search. Almost every company has a page on LinkedIn, and they have a list of their workers who are also on LinkedIn. So you can use the LinkedIn search bar and, for example, find a company you're interested in, and then explore the company's page and find people. Then you can filter them by title, for example, choosing decision makers like CEO, CFO, and others. And you can also use connection level filters. For example, to find people who you are directly connected with. There are also additional opportunities on LinkedIn. You can always engage with relevant for you content, like following companies and key decision makers, engaging with their content by liking, leaving comments, sharing, to make you more visible to them and establishing some network. You can use advanced filters by signing up premium accounts. Yeah, there is a premium LinkedIn account where you can use advanced filters to narrow your search even more, with even more options to choose from. And also LinkedIn has a special tool for sales professionals called Sales Navigator. And it provides, again, advanced search, more advanced features, so you can work more effectively. So, about some tips for virtual assistants. You can always use a relevant industry-related hashtag to search for potential leads in social media. And you can always join and actively participate in industry-specific groups in social media to establish some connections. So, for example, if you want to find leads related to digital agencies in Europe, you can use LinkedIn and Twitter, for example. On LinkedIn, you can search for profiles with titles like Digital Marketing Manager or Digital Strategies in various European countries. You can also follow digital marketing groups or pages that often share information about agencies and job opportunities. And you can always use hashtags, for example, on Twitter or on LinkedIn as well, like digital agency, digital marketing, to discover tweets and profiles and engage with them. So, at the same time, let me show you an example of how you can actually do it on LinkedIn. So there is my LinkedIn page, and you can see the home with a search bar. So, for example, you want to find marketing managers. You choose that option, and you have all kinds of different filters. Well, we're interested in people, so we choose that. And again, we have many filters. Let's take a look at them. So connections, are we connected with these people? Probably second connection means that we are connected with some person that is connected with that person. You can choose any location. For example, let's try. You can choose any location. So let's try using it, and let's search for United States. We can search for their interest, their company, or past company even, university, industry. So you can choose several options. Well, let's take retail, for example. Okay, you can choose several if you need. Profile language, open to probably categories. in service that they provide some keywords like, again, title, first name, last name, company, and etc. Well, anything that you want. And if you show result, you will get every marketing manager in the United States that work in retail and has an account on LinkedIn. So what to do next? Let's take a look, for example, at someone's profile. See, you can connect if you want to communicate with that person. You can follow them. So again, it's always good to follow and then connect, because following means that, well, you're showing your interest. You can also track what they're posting and engage with their posts. So sometimes people leave their contact information, for example, in their about field, but in most cases, they don't do it. So you have to find emails by yourself. As an option, there are different plugins and services that can help you with finding emails, like Get Email, as you can see, or Rocket Reach, actually many of them, to find emails. Okay, so let's return back to our presentation. So, how to use industry-specific resources to find potential clients? First of all, you should identify relevant industry-specific websites and connect with professionals. It is really crucial to identify platforms that are really specific for your target market. If the website allows for user profiles, actually consider connecting with professionals who fit your target client profile. Again, some websites may provide contact information, some won't do that. So how to identify relevant websites and blogs? Well, you can conduct keyword research. So start by conducting keyword research to identify some industry-specific keywords and phrases related to a target market. You use search engines to discover websites, blogs, and publications that are specific for you, and explore industry directories and listings like Clutch or Good Firms. These directories have valuable resources for finding websites, blogs, and publications. So, for example, keyword research for the e-commerce industry may unveil terms like e-commerce news, e-commerce trends, and e-commerce marketing that can use, for example, to search for hashtags or to use hashtags. And a search for e-commerce news can lead you to websites such as eMarketer, Retail Dive, or e-commerce Bytes that will provide you with further valuable industry information. So you should also engage with all these industry-specific websites, blogs, and publications. So, and you can engage with them in many different ways. For example, you can subscribe to newsletters and blogs, and because these are excellent sources for fresh information and insights. You can engage through comments. It's a way to initiate conversations and show your interest and knowledge and actually establish your presence in this field. Share content on social media that can help you build a personal brand and connect with potential clients. Again, it will show other people that you have an expertise here and that you're interested in this field. And participate in discussions, like join discussions, become an active member, again, establish network connections. So you can also find leads on industry-specific websites, blogs, and publications. So, for example, you can locate author contact information because authors or contributors to articles and blog posts can provide contact information, so it will be really easy for you to reach out to them. You should pay attention to comments and discussions because You can, first of all, you can participate in them and attract attention to yourself. And you can also discover the information that might be relevant for you and show you that this person or this company is interested in some specific services. And you can always identify these companies, and because they can become your potential leads. If they have interest in some field, you might offer them your services or the product, and etc. So how to identify relevant events and webinars? Because sometimes on specific for some industries, blogs, websites, and other, you can find a lot of information about events, webinars, and other. So how to identify relevant for you? Well, you can use online event calendars. For example, search for them, and they will show you some industry-specific events and webinars. And these resources list upcoming opportunities for networking. You can subscribe to industry newsletters because they always contain information about upcoming events and webinars. So you will stay updated without additional need to check the news. And you can always follow industry leaders on social media as well, because they often share some announcements on their social media. So let's take a look at the example. And imagine your client is a design studio seeking to find new clients in the healthcare industry. For example, they have a great expertise in making logos, making some booklets, or well, providing a wide range of branding services specifically in medical industry. So how can you search for industry-specific websites for this purpose? Well, first of all, utilize search engines and use Google to identify websites and forums that are specific to the healthcare and medical field. You can use different terms like medical industry forums, healthcare branding associations, medicine marketing communities, and etc. Then you explore healthcare associations as one way to find information. So you can always research, in our example, healthcare and medical associations and organizations like the American Medical Association or the American Hospital Association. And you also shouldn't forget about conferences and events related to medicine, like keep an eye on medical conferences, events, webinars, probably some other opportunities that show that some medical facilities are interested in branding services. You can also look for online medical journals because they often have websites containing resources, again, forums, any kind of useful information. And while we're talking about forums, there are of course, healthcare forums, where professionals within the medical field discuss or can discuss different topics, including marketing and branding. So you can engage in conversation, share that you're an expert here, and connect with potential clients. And of course, you can always investigate healthcare news websites and outlets that specialize in healthcare and medical news. So because they frequently provide some information when you can locate potential clients. How to use lead generation databases and directories? Well, first of all, you should select reliable databases. It's really crucial to identify trustworthy sources within your industry, and you should evaluate the quality and accuracy of the data provided and look for databases that offer guarantees of data accuracy. It's essential to choose a database that aligns with your specific industry and target audience. For example, some databases can focus on B2B leads, others to B2C. So you should always be sure that this specific database will provide you with relevant for you information. So some examples of popular databases. ZoomInfo actually provides detailed information on businesses, professionals, and contact details. Hoover's, again, business information and contact details for various industries. Discover.org, mostly B2B database that actually has information on key decision makers and businesses. Hunter, it's a database that provides you with email addresses. Leadspace, it's a B2B customer data platform. Then B2B contact data that has contacts for lead generation, sales, and marketing. And of course, many of these databases have paid subscriptions that provide you with more options. So let's take a look at the example on how to use online research. As a virtual assistant, your client, a design studio, is looking to expand its client base in the medical industry within Europe. They aim to offer branding services, and your task is to find potential leads for them. So let's take a look how you can actually do that. You can begin with a Google search for the following: medical clinics in Italy or other countries, to find clinics in different locations. Then you would like to find some specialized clinics like eye medical clinics in Italy. You can look for medical conferences and events in Europe to discover upcoming events. And you can visit conference websites to identify potential clients, decision makers, and marketing executives in need of branding services. So search for relevant hashtags like healthcare branding or medical marketing on industry-specific platforms like LinkedIn, or you can also use Twitter to find some decision makers or people interested in the topics. Or you can even find some relevant information on less obvious social platforms like Instagram. You can visit industry-specific websites such as MedTech Europe or the European Healthcare Marketing Association to identify healthcare organizations. And you can use lead generation databases like ZoomInfo to access a curated list of medical industry professionals in Europe. You can filter results to find branding, marketing, communication roles, and other decision makers. So your goal on this stage is to compile a list of potential leads for the design studio, which they can then reach out to and potentially convert into clients. So let's take a look at the example of lead generation report. For example, you have a name of a client, you have a brief description of task, then prepared by whom and date. So it's actually just an example. They can look in different ways, but still. And then you have all the data about the work you have done. For example, data collection. You use search engines to identify, and then you provide a list of clinics in Italy and other European countries. You have discovered, again, list of eye clinics in different countries. And you have found some list of upcoming medical conferences and events that might be useful for the company you give that list to. Then you mentioned social media, for example, you connected with some numbers of professionals on LinkedIn and Twitter. And then you can provide information on industry-specific websites, like that you have searched on some specific website and discovered some amount of potential leads. Then you found these contacts in relevant forums, for example. And of course, if you use them, you can also mention lead generation databases, for example, that you have extracted the list with some potential leads that might be interested to the company. And the next steps, so first of all, you compile the collected leads into a structured database or CRM tool. Then you verify and validate the contact information to ensure accuracy. And then you create a lead nurturing and outreach strategy to engage with these potential clients. And this we will actually discuss during the next lesson. So how to create a database? Well, you can use Google Spreadsheets to include key information about potential leads, such as company name, contact name, job title, contact information, location, industry. So the next slide will show you an example of such a table, but again, you can customize it how you want. So as you can see, it's just a Google spreadsheet, and you have company name, contact name, job title, which is important to identify decision makers and what responsibilities they have. Then you have contact information, their email and phone number, and of course, location and industry. So how to verify and validate the contact information? It actually might be tricky because the information can be outdated, or for some reason you would find it on a separate sites like the Git email or Rocket Reach I told you, or Hunter in this category as well. So you can also use some services that can validate this contact information, like Never Bounce, that actually provides free email verification for up to 1,000 email per month, and it checks how valid are email addresses. The similar services are Email List Verify, where you can have about 100 email verifications for free, or Debounce. So this time you will have a following task. You need to find 10 potential leads for the client in the task using all methods of lead generation, except databases and directories methods, and then create a database in Google Spreadsheets. Also, you should create a lead generation report for the client as it was shown in the example. The more detailed information will be provided in Google Spreadsheet. Sorry, that was wrong. More detailed information will be provided in Google Classroom. Thank you for your attention, and see you in our next lesson. Bye.